Hey, it's John Aravosis with AMERICAblog, sitting here with Joe Sudbay, who writes on the blog with me. We're going to start a weekly chat for 3 minutes about the issues of the week. First issue, the Congress. Joe, what happened this week in Congress? You got 60 seconds.
Okay, the Senate passed an ethics bill. I think the American people showed ethics and corruption were a big issue for them, and the Senate responded by passing a pretty strong ethics bill. The Republicans tried to kill it, and they had to backtrack. That happened yesterday. It was very dramatic. On the House side, the House finished their first 100 hours. Very important piece of legislation. I think the most important thing of all was how many Republicans voted with the Democrats on the Democratic agenda. I think it showed that Nancy Pelosi and her team pulled together a very positive agenda that on issues that American people really care about.
Closing question on this topic, where do the Dems go from here?
You know, the Democrats are going to have to deal with Iraq. That's the biggest issue facing them now. In the next week, I think we're going to see the House and Senate deal with resolutions. Non-binding, but still they'll start dealing with Iraq.
Okay, next issue, election 2008. What happened this week in the presidential?
Two pieces of news. On the Democratic side, we saw Obama finally form an exploratory committee.
And what does that mean?
Basically means he's going to start a campaign. He can raise money. It's a procedural thing, but it's obviously a press opportunity which he took full advantage of, and he did become news this week on the Democratic side. He is catching a lot of buzz. Obama's going to see in the next 6 months whether he can withstand the pressure. He's going to be scrutinized like he never has been before. On the Republican side, I think the most interesting story is where John McCain's going, and it's straight down. A pollster in New Hampshire basically said this week that McCain was tanking. He's losing a lot of support among independents.
Dropped 20% in the last year with independents in New Hampshire.
20 points,
right.
And it's all because he's pro-escalation. He's more pro-escalation on the Iraq War than Bush is, as the move on ends.
Well, and also, I mean, to what degree do you think there have been a number of, I'll call them sort of mini scandals with religious right issues and everything else, where McCain seems to be flip-flopping? 10 more seconds. Do you think that's all influencing it as well, or do you think it's mostly Iraq?
Oh, I think that has a lot to do with it, because McCain has had this patina of being an independent, but for the past few months he's been really kowtowing to the right wing, but it didn't work because this week James Dobson said he would not support John McCain.
Big religious right leader.
Huge,
okay.
Huge, it's big.
Third topic and final topic, State of the Union coming up in a few days. What should we expect?
I think you'll see the president try one more time to sell the American people on his agenda. His popularity right now, his approval rating is about 30%. He's going nowhere fast. I think what is going to be the more interesting story is how many Republicans start running away from George Bush this week, and you'll see that happening with the Iraq resolutions.
But do you think, after the State of the Union, are we going to get Republican critics speaking out after the State of the Union against Bush?
I think on Wednesday you're going to see several Republicans support a resolution about opposing the escalation. Yes,
and that's coming up. That's coming up Senate and House, or when?
I think it'll be in both bodies this week.
Okay.
This coming week.
Okay, great. Well, that's 3 minutes with John and Joe on Friday. Hope you guys have a good weekend. We'll see you next week.
Thanks.